Ned Sheets stared out the window of his new laboratory, watching Aqualand soldiers perform drills in their water-filled suits. It was still surreal to him how far they'd come since that first prototype. A knock at the door pulled him from his reverie. "Enter," he called, turning to see Xyloax glide in, accompanied by two elder Aquilans he didn't recognize.
Ned Sheets' Xyloax began, his colors shifting in what Ned had come to recognize as a mix of respect and concern. "We need to talk."
Over the next hour, Ned listened in growing disbelief as the Aquilans laid out their proposal. They wanted him to join their campaign against the Ether, not as a distant support, but as an on-site engineer and suit specialist. "But I'm not a soldier," Ned protested weakly. "I'm just a guy who likes to tinker."
One of the elders, introduced as War Sage Vortax, spoke up. "Sometimes, Ned Sheets, the greatest warriors are those who never intended to fight."
Vortax activated a holographic projector, displaying ancient Aqualand texts and images. "Long ago, our people faced the Ether. We were unprepared, overconfident. They devastated our worlds, drove us back into the depths of our oceans. It took us millennia to recover, to dare reach for the stars again." Ned absorbed this information, his mind racing. "And now you're willing to face them again? Why?" Xyloax's colors darkened. "Because humanity has shown us the cost of complacency. Your people's declaration that any who attack humans will face dire consequences, it has inspired us. You gave us the freedom to explore the universe, Ned. Now we wish to help protect it." Ned sat heavily in his chair, overwhelmed. I need some time to think about this." The Aquilans respectfully withdrew, leaving Ned alone with his thoughts. He spent the next few days in a daze, alternating between frantic work on suit upgrades and long periods of contemplation. On the evening of the third day, he found himself in the Aqualand Cultural Center, staring at a mural depicting their ancient defeat at the hands of the Ether. The devastation, the fear in the artist's rendering, it all felt so palpable. Heavy stuff, isn't it? Ned turned to see Admiral Williams standing beside him. "Admiral, I don't know if I can do this. I'm an inventor, not a war hero." Williams smiled softly. "Ned, do you know why humanity is taking this stance against the Ether? It's not about revenge or even justice. It's about survival. We're a young species in a big, often hostile universe. If we don't show strength now, we may not get another chance." She placed a hand on his shoulder. "Your tinkering has given us, and the Aquilans, a fighting chance. But a weapon is only as good as the person maintaining it. Those suits, out there in the field, they'll need you." Ned looked back at the mural, then down at his hands that had transformed from filing insurance claims to reshaping the balance of power in the galaxy. He took a deep breath. "Okay," he said quietly. "I'm in." The next few weeks were a whirlwind of preparation. Ned threw himself into upgrading the suits, incorporating new offensive and defensive capabilities. He pored over Aquilans military histories, looking for strategies that could be enhanced by his technology. As the day of departure approached, Ned found himself standing before a mirror, barely recognizing the man looking back at him. Gone was the timid clerk. In his place stood someone new. Not quite a soldier, not quite a scientist, but something in between. Xyloax found him there, lost in thought. "It is time, my friend. Are you ready?" Ned picked up his toolkit, no longer a hobby box, but a case of precision instruments that could mean the difference between life and death in the field. "As ready as I'll ever be." Together, they made their way to the docking bay where the Aqualand warship awaited. As Ned walked up the gangplank, he turned for one last look at the world he was leaving behind. The sunset painted the sky in brilliant hues, reflecting off the ocean waves. "You know," he said to Xyloax, "I used to dream about adventures like this when I was filing insurance claims. Be careful what you wish for, I guess." Xyloax's translator rendered a chuckle. "The universe has a strange way of answering our calls, Ned Sheets. Now, let us answer its call together." With a deep breath, Ned stepped into the ship. The doors closed behind him with a hiss of hydraulics and a faint splash of water. As he felt the engines rumble to life beneath his feet, Ned Sheets' former clerk, reluctant innovator, and now improbable war hero steeled himself for whatever the stars had in store. The Aqualand campaign against the ether had begun, and at its heart was a human who had never planned to be anything more than a tinkerer with a dream. The klaxons blared, jolting Ned from his fitful sleep. He'd been aboard the Aqualand warship Tidal Fury for 3 weeks, and the sound of battle stations still sent his heart racing. "All hands, prepare for engagement," the ship's eye boomed in both Aqualand and English. "Ether fleet detected on approach vector." Ned scrambled into his work suit, a modified version of his Aqualand design, adapted for his human physiology. He sprinted towards the engineering bay, narrowly avoiding the rush of Aqualand warriors heading to their deployment stations. As he entered the bay, a holographic display flickered to life, showing the impending battle. A swarm of ether ships, their designs as alien and inscrutable as ever, bore down on their position. Ned Xyloax's voice crackled over the comm. "We're launching the first wave. Be ready for emergency repairs." "Understood," Ned replied, his hands already flying over his toolkit. "Good hunting, Xyloax. Stay safe out there." The ship shuddered as the first volley of ether weapons impacted their shields. Through the bay's viewports, Ned watched as squadrons of suited Aqualands shot forth into the void, their movements a deadly water ballet among the stars. For the next few hours, Ned worked feverishly. Damaged suits were rushed in, their occupants often injured and always eager to get back into the fight. Ned patched ruptured water chambers, recalibrated propulsion systems, and even managed to boost shield efficiency on the fly. Ned, an urgent call came through. "Portside breach. We need emergency suit repairs, stat." Without thinking, Ned grabbed his mobile kit and rushed towards the damaged section. As he arrived, he saw the problem immediately: a group of Aqualand soldiers, their suits sparking and leaking, trying to hold off a boarding party of ether troops. For a moment, Ned froze. This wasn't supposed to happen. He wasn't supposed to be on the front lines. But as he watched an Aqualand warrior fall, suit failing, Ned's hesitation vanished. He dashed forward, dodging energy blasts, and reached the fallen Aqualand. His hands moved with practiced efficiency, sealing breaches and rerouting power. Come on, he muttered. The Aqualand's suit lights flickered, then blazed to life. With a warble of gratitude, the warrior rejoined the fray. Emboldened, Ned moved from soldier to soldier, patching and improving suits, even as the battle raged around him. His mind raced, seeing flaws and potential improvements in real time. The seals need to be stronger here, he thought, reinforcing a joint. And if I cross-wire these circuits? Suddenly, a stray blast knocked Ned off his feet. He looked up to see an ether soldier looming over him, weapon raised. Time seemed to slow. In that moment, Ned's hand found a loose power coupling. Without thinking, he jammed it into the ether suit, sending a surge of energy through the alien's systems. The ether convulsed and fell. As quickly as it had begun, the skirmish was over. The remaining ether troops retreated, leaving behind a battered but victorious Aqualand force. Xyloax rushed to Ned's side, helping him up. By the deep currents, Ned, you fought like a true warrior of the depths. Ned, still shaking from adrenaline, managed a weak smile. I just did what I had to. Is everyone okay? As the Aqualands regrouped, taking stock of their injuries and victories, Ned's mind was already racing with new ideas. The battle had shown him weaknesses in the suits he'd never anticipated, but also possibilities he'd never imagined. Back in the relative safety of the engineering bay, Ned was sketching furiously when Admiral Williams's face appeared on a holo screen. "Mr. Sheets," she said, her expression grim. "First, let me commend you on your actions today. You saved a lot of lives out there." "Thank you, Admiral," Ned replied, sensing there was more. "But I'm afraid I have bad news. Our long-range scouts have detected an ether superweapon in development. If they complete it, this war might be over before it's truly begun." Ned felt a chill run down his spine. What? What can we do? Williams's eyes hardened with determination. We fight, Mr. Sheets. We fight with everything we've got. And we're going to need every ounce of that famous human ingenuity of yours." As the transmission ended, Ned looked down at his sketches, then out at the stars beyond the viewport. The enormity of the task ahead weighed on him, but so did the memory of the lives he'd saved today. "All right, universe," he muttered, picking up his tools. "You want ingenuity? Let's see what this tinkerer can really do." The ether superweapon loomed in their future, a threat to everything they'd fought for. But as Ned set to work, surrounded by grateful Aquilans and the fruits of his own imagination, he felt something he hadn't expected in the midst of war: hope. The next battle would be decisive, and Ned Sheets, no longer just an engineer, but a true comrade in arms, would be ready. Ned stood before the assembled Aqualand War Council, his heart pounding. The holographic display of the ether superweapon rotated slowly in the center of the room, its alien geometries defying easy understanding. "And that's why a frontal assault won't work," he concluded. "But I think I have a solution." War Sage Vortax leaned forward, his colors shifting with interest. "Speak, Ned Sheets. Your insights have not led us astray yet." Ned took a deep breath. "We go back to your roots, to the oceans." He activated his own holographic display, showing a new suit design. "I've been studying your ancient battle tactics, from before you took to the stars. The way you used currents, pressure, the very water itself as a weapon. We can adapt that for space." The council murmured as Ned explained his plan. A small team, using specially modified suits that could generate localized water fields, would infiltrate the superweapon. They'd use water as both camouflage and weapon, shorting out ether systems and moving in ways the enemy couldn't predict. As the briefing concluded, Xyloax approached Ned. "A bold plan, my friend. But who will lead this mission? Who has the skill to use these new suits effectively?" Ned squared his shoulders. "I will." The next few days were a blur of preparation. Ned worked tirelessly, perfecting the new suits and running simulations. As he made final adjustments, Admiral Williams's face appeared on a nearby screen. "Mr. Sheets," she said, her voice solemn. "I just wanted to say, Earth is proud of you. Whatever happens next, you've already gone above and beyond. Good luck out there." Ned nodded, too nervous for words, as the transmission ended. The mission began smoothly. Ned, Xyloax, and 3 elite Aqualand warriors slipped past the ether defenses, their water-cloaked suits rendering them nearly invisible. But as they penetrated deeper into the superweapon, disaster struck. An unforeseen energy surge disrupted their suits. In the chaos, Ned found himself separated from the others, alarms blaring around him. "Xyloax. Anyone?" "Come in." His comm crackled with static. Alone in the heart of the enemy weapon, Ned felt panic rising. But then he remembered something Admiral Williams had said long ago: sometimes, the greatest warriors are those who never intended to fight. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a hero. He was Ned Sheets, a guy who liked to tinker. And right now he was surrounded by the most advanced alien tech he'd ever seen. With renewed determination, Ned set to work. He interfaced his suit with the ether systems, his mind racing to understand and adapt their strange technology. Bit by bit, he began to unravel the superweapon's defenses. Meanwhile, the Aqualand human fleet engaged the ether armada in a desperate battle to buy time. Ships exploded in silent bursts of light, debris and water from ruptured Aqualand vessels freezing instantly in the vacuum of space. Inside the superweapon, Ned had a breakthrough. He couldn't destroy it, but he could reverse its polarity. With trembling hands, he initiated the sequence. The effect was immediate and catastrophic for the ether. Their entire fleet's systems went haywire, ships colliding and weapons backfiring. In the confusion, Ned's team found him, and they fought their way back to their extraction point. As their ship sped away, Ned watched in awe as the superweapon imploded, taking a significant portion of the ether fleet with it. The remaining enemy ships fled, jumping to hyperspace in a panicked retreat. The journey home was filled with celebration. Ned found himself the center of attention, Aqualand warriors clapping him on the back and changing colors in dizzying patterns of joy and respect. Months later, On a newly established joint human-Aqualand colony, Ned stood on a beach, watching the sunset. Xyloax floated nearby in a shallow pool. "The Ether have sued for peace," Xyloax said. "Your people's message was received loud and clear across the galaxy. None shall threaten humanity or its allies lightly again." Ned nodded, still processing everything that had happened. "And the Aqualands? How do your people feel?" Xyloax's colors shifted to a warm, deep blue. "We have reclaimed our warrior spirit, thanks to you. But more importantly, we have gained true friends among the stars. The age of isolation is over." As they watched the twin moons rise, Ned reflected on his journey. From a bored clerk dreaming of adventure to a hero of two species. Yet in his heart, he knew he was still that same guy who just liked to tinker. So he said, a gleam in his eye, "I've been thinking about some improvements to the colony's water reclamation systems." Xyloax's translator rendered a laugh. "Ever the innovator, Ned Sheets. Come, let us see what wonders your restless mind has conjured now." As they headed towards Ned's workshop, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Once, Ned would have wished for adventure. Now, he realized he had everything he'd ever truly wanted: purpose, friendship, and an entire universe of new things to tinker with. The clerk-turned-hero smiled. Whatever challenges tomorrow might bring, he was ready to face them, one innovation at a time. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I hope you loved it. Please remember to subscribe if you did like it so you can see more videos like this. And please give us a like and a comment too. I'll see you in the next one.